Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Excited under it's here, and I have
Yes.
Dolly.
How is everyone?
There,
One way.
there. I just go like that.
There you go.
Hey,
Perfect.
hey.
Hey. How is
I'm
everyone?
back.
Yes.
Feels like it's been years, but it hasn't.
Close enough.
I swear, going to the other side of this country, it feels like it's been years. Um, but yes, guess what we're doing today?
Yes. This
It's
is live.
CHAZZLE Day. Is this live? See, you know what? It's always live when you're here. You make us live. Oh, get it, darling?
Oh, I get it.
You you make us live. Yes. Pixie!
Pixie.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello. It is so good to be here with you. Yes, Sal, it is in the future. No, yeah, duh. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it is morning here, Dave. How are you? Oh, what happened with the game, Sal?
Oh, shut up. Fuck. Assholes.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm not
I don't
even
want to talk
gonna.
about it.
Okay. Well, I thought your team was going great, Sal.
We
You were
were.
so happy.
I was happy.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
No, it's
not
still,
so
we're not out of it
much.
or anything, but Jesus.
Oh, you're not out of it.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, but it's very close, so every game
Right.
counts.
Sad, sad sports ball. Chucking the sad sads. The sad sads. Hello, salty dog. Hello.
Nine
So
people
good to
here.
have you guys all here. Today is going to be a happy day because you know what? We have the happiest judge in the entire world, Judge Highland, and he's just
Yes.
happy to be hosting the funnest murder trial in history,
Damn
if you
straight.
can call it that. Damn straight. And you know what I love about this judge? He just loves getting everyone to do the mask drop.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So the mask drop. Hey, hey, Paige. Um, the mask drop is everyone drop your masks for the count of three. And then you've got 3 seconds to identify the defendant. It was him. You'll see what I mean. It's very funny. No, Pixie, no purse house today. Sal, do you want to explain what's going on with that?
Yeah, they rested unfortunately without calling Drew Carey, which is a travesty of justice in my
It
opinion.
was just not right.
So tomorrow they will do closing arguments, and then we'll get the feed on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was an idiot and I went, oh, it's happening on Thursday. Because I really believed it was Thursday.
Yeah,
Because it's my Thursday, you see, that's when it happens. Because Sal said Thursday to
yeah,
me. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, Thursday. And apparently it's not really Thursday, it's
yeah,
Wednesday in your time.
exactly.
And so I went
Nothing.
around telling everyone, it's Thursday, it's Thursday. And then he goes, no, it's her Thursday. It's actually Wednesday. So Wednesday is when we're streaming it.
Yeah.
So it's actually Tuesday,
Well,
but that's happening
yeah.
because they're a
I don't
day
know.
late to give it to us.
I don't know how long closing is going to be though. Well, I guess they have to read jury instructions.
No, it shouldn't be. But we don't get that stuff. Oh, do we?
We
Do
might.
they even give us that? They don't. They give us like compressed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so sometimes it's really quick. So we'll see what's left.
No.
We can do more
Hi.
Chandler or something.
Oh, look. There's always plenty of things we can do.
Yeah.
Like Chandler, Chaz is not second best. I swear. Like I tell you what, watching Chaz, we could just watch him all day.
Oh yeah.
This is just the most entertaining trial I can think of. to watch. We have so much fun for you today.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it, shall we? Hello, Murph. Hello, Christine. Hey, Christine. Yeah, I got your message, and I'd like to meet you too. What's going on? Hey, Chloe. Well, no, he's with me.
Yeah.
He's right here. What's this, Matt? Ew, you need to move. This is too confusing. What are you talking about?
Move to
move
the
to the
US.
US?
Yeah.
Nah. And besides, you're not even in the US.
I know.
So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Hey? No, I'm too scared of the guns, Matt. I'd be walking around like covered in Kevlar all the time. And Rabbit. Hey, Rabbit.
It's not that
Did
bad.
CHAZZLE. You did CHAZZLE hands. What's CHAZZLE hands?
I'm not sure.
Like CHAZZLE hands?
Like that. Yes, Junior. Hi.
All right, let's get into it. We've talked too much. Okay, so anyway, going like that, hiding that, and hang on, let me just get out my new thing. I need, where is it? That one. Look! Anyone recognize that little guy? That is Chaz in the tree. In the tree, climbing the tree.
Of course. What a cute guy.
Looking all cute. And that's the tree where it was near Lake Wisconsin where his mom's legs were found.
Aww.
Clever. He's such a clever dude. It's just you can't fault him.
Maybe they walked over there.
Maybe they did. Oh dear. Too much. Yeah. It's not the guns you need to worry about. It's those crazy American drivers for a supposedly civilized country on an insane number of Americans die in traffic each year. Well, you know what? Like, cars are a deadly weapon too.
Yeah.
It's true.
People
get really scared of getting. It's true. People are very scared of getting in planes, but planes very safe.
Well, they're lowering the requirements for getting up to be a pilot, so we've seen some issues increasing.
Oh, really? Yeah. They seem to just lower standards all the time.
Yeah.
So clever he got caught. That's right, Pixie. I don't know really how the cops caught him. Now, let's move on. So we have, let's see, well, where we got to last time was all we did was the opening statement, which, by the way, one opening statement. We did the state opening statement, which, by the way, were pretty much the most comprehensive and convincing opening statements I've ever seen by a state prosecutor.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. In fact, I've watched those opening statements a lot of times, and I'm not generally convinced by opening statements by the state.
Yeah.
But they were good. In contrast, the opening statement by the defense is, yeah.
Still better than that Kenosha case where he pew-pewed the dog.
Yeah, look, it's better than the one where, the doggy one in Wisconsin where the dude hasn't washed. Seconds. Yeah, and he turned up and I think it was 28 seconds. It was quite premature.
Yeah.
And he really might as well have not showed up at all. But this one goes for, I think, about 15 minutes. And yeah, it's a bit of a wow. So we're going to sort of speed through it and make it more like about 10 minutes. But it's just curious to see that Mr. CHAZZLE didn't really stand much of a chance right from the beginning. So we're going to go through the opening statements and just get to know his defense counsel.
Did that happen? In Letitia, the guy walked out of the courtroom? I don't remember that. I didn't see that trial.
He didn't walk out of the courtroom, did he?
I didn't see the trial.
So that. He made it fairly obvious that, she did it. But I don't remember him walking out of the courtroom. They put up a decent fight, didn't they?
I didn't know if you meant literally.
I watched the whole thing.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing. But they didn't fight the the prosecution, the state case very much until it came to the actual her being crazy.
Okay.
And then they put it before it. Anyway, yeah, was this on? Yes, he dramatically walked out to show that everyone deserves a defense or something. Oh, right, okay.
Oh, really? And is it opening or closing?
In opening, it must have been opening.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
remember
that's
that.
lame.
I'll have to watch that back. He was quite dramatic. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, as per usual, it is a democracy when it comes to sound. Also, when it comes to boringness, if it's getting really boring, I want to know about it, and we can skip because we're not watching the whole trial. We're watching highlights. All right, so fun parts. So if trial gets boring,
fun parts.
It gets boring, and we go forward. Let's go. Alrighty.
Do you want to turn 1 1/4 on?
I'm going to. Give me a minute.
Don't worry. Wow.
Please. Where?
Jeez.
Jeez.
I love her deep sigh.
Did not murder.
Hang on.
He is not guilty of those crimes.
Does it need to be up a bit or not?
Chandler Halderson is 23 years old, young
Just wait.
man. He likes to play video games, play with his dogs, hang out with his girlfriend, and he lived
Unalive his
peacefully in his
parents.
parents' home. He was just a normal kid. He is a normal
Cooking,
kid.
baking.
So what did happen? What happened to the Haldersons? What happened in that Haldersons' home? Remember those questions.
I hope he gets his appeal.
They won't be answered at the end of this trial. Remember those questions at the end of this trial when you have to decide whether the state has proven to you that Chandler Halderson killed his parents.
Really, Paige? You're in for a
They
treat.
don't know what happened.
It's something.
They just told you what they think happened. We heard a lot of detail of the before and a lot of detail of the after. But 1 or 2 simple sentences, and then he killed his parents. The evidence will show you that there is a gap of evidence when it comes to that time frame. And your job is to listen to this evidence as jurors. Listen to the evidence from the perspective of a juror, not from the perspective of a story corroborator, corroborating the state's story. The role of being a juror is a different role than being a person. And that may sound strange, but it is. I think of when I went to law school way back in 1991, and there's a big part of me that feels I went into law school a human being who lived my life feeling things emotionally and relating to things emotionally. And I left law school a really different person.
I kind of like this,
I learned
actually.
how to be very logical.
I'm not saying
apply facts.
She's okay.
First to assemble facts.
I mean,
and then
for what
to
she has.
apply these facts to the
She's
law.
trying.
They had a tough job.
It.
Yeah. Better
Facts,
than that werewolf
laws, and rules.
prosecutor or
Plus
defense in
logic.
Kenosha.
That's your role here as a juror. Don't assume anything. Assumption is the mother of all mistakes. The story that you just heard assumes that Chandler Halderson killed his parents. You cannot assume anything.
Yeah.
Your job is to presume that Chandler Halderson is innocent because he today is under the benefit of the presumption of innocence. An assumption is reaching a conclusion without knowing all the information. A presumption is a principle that we all must follow. We must presume him innocent, and we must keep that presumption unless and until the state proves every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not easy. It's not easy in a high-profile case. It's not easy in a case where we all know we're going to see evidence that is disturbing. But you must find a way,
It's an understatement.
like I did in law school, to put your emotions, put your feelings aside, and use the logical part of who you are. Be a juror. Assemble the facts, know the law, and apply the logic without letting your feelings or emotions get in the way. And for each of you, you might have a different way of doing that. But I'm asking you here today to dig deep and find out how that will work for you so that you can presume my client innocent.
Hey, David.
Now, I'm not going to have a fancy PowerPoint here, and I'm probably
We'll
not even
link
going
in
to talk
Discord.
very much longer. But as I comment to you on the evidence that you're going to see in this case, I want to highlight a couple of things. First of all, and the judge already indicated this in some of the preliminary instructions,
That's true.
lack of evidence is evidence just as much as any evidence that is presented to you in the courtroom. Look for what's missing. Look for alternate explanations. Because the second thing I want to tell you is that evidence of one thing is not necessarily evidence of another thing. One fact here could mean a different fact here, but it also could mean 3 or 4 other facts. So you have to avoid jumping to conclusions and really dig deep and look at what this all means. You're going to notice that many of the facts, many of the witnesses aren't going to be hotly contested by the defense in this case. And that goes back to what I was just saying. 12, 18, 100 reasonable people can look at a certain situation and form a different conclusion. And when you're talking about a system where you need to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt, you better make very sure that you're excluding all of the other things that these facts could mean. Because you just aren't going to know what happened.
Please, for
You're
the
gonna
love of
know
God.
some about the
Don't
before.
convict.
You're going to know some about the after. But you're not going to know what happened in the Halderson's home, who did it, what happened, how it went down, whether it was intentional or not, which is an element of homicide. You're just not going to know. You're also going to not know how Bart and Krista would have reacted to these lies. That's never going to be explained to you, why lying turns into murder or how lying turns into murder. Be sure to look for what you're not told, because that's evidence just as much as any evidence is. I'm going to ask you to resist some things in this case as jurors. We already talked a little bit about proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What that means is you must resist guessing. You must resist speculation. You must resist storytelling. And only convict when it's proven, or if it's proven, which it won't be, beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to ask you to resist losing your objectivity. Objectivity may be hard for people in this case because of the graphic nature of what you've just been told or what you're going to see. But you need to resist losing that objectivity. Commit to being jurors, dispassionate, logical. Don't be swayed by fear. And I ask you to resist any pressure you might feel to convict Mr. Halderson of murder in this case. It's a little unorthodox, but I'm going to tell you, at the end of this case, Attorney Vera and I may stand before you here and say, you know what? They did convict him of this, but what evidence do you have of murder?
He was just a crappy cook.
I like to talk about the Constitution, probably because I'm a defense lawyer. But I think as jurors, as people coming into the system who aren't dealing with this every day, like we are here in the courtroom, you have to remember how important the Constitution is. how important the presumption of innocence is for Mr. Halderson, and how important proof beyond a reasonable doubt is. It's the highest standard we have. And it was created and perseveres to this day for this very reason. When someone is on trial for the most serious crime possible, and every little thing they do, every little lie they might have told is blown up and thrown against someone. That's when proof beyond a reasonable doubt matters. You jurors, not the sheriff's department, not Mr. Brown or Ms. Raymond or me or the judge, get to decide this case. Individually, you all get a vote. You all get to make your own decision. I simply ask that you remember your role as jurors, that you find a way to stay objective, that you look for the key questions, the key facts that aren't answered, and that you hold the government to this high burden of proof. If you do those things, if you can resist these things, you will reach the right conclusion. Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents.
Scout's honor.
Crickets.
Deputy Seeley, had you ever met Chandler?
Sorry about the sound.
May this be excused?
Oops. Okay, so what we're going to do is this guy here is actually he's actually the second witness, and I'm going to skip the first witness. There's two first responders that came in, and the second of the first responders is actually a bit more interesting than the first. They kind of say the same thing, and they talk about like the layout of the house and how Chandler's demeanor was and things like that. So I feel that of those two first responders, see, there's this guy here, and I'll just go ahead a little bit. Yeah, the second one here that's about to get sworn in. In the interest of saving time and also keeping it a bit more fresh, I would probably go for this second one. So, yeah, we'll just jump into this guy's testimony, and then after that, we're going to get into Mitchell, his brother. So let's go. Remembering that this is a highlights trial rewatch. And Christine, oh, you're being told by Murph? That's great. Chandler butchered his parents in their home, lied and tried to cover it up. Yeah, that's the abridged version. But yeah, you should do a rewatch on the last one.
If you are able to responsibly and safely testify without a mask,
I think you were in there.
My preference
as
if
well,
you would.
Christine.
Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Good morning.
Send you a
Please
link
spell
for
your
it
name
if you
for us.
like.
Josh Seeley, S-E-E-L-E-Y.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
Deputy Sheriff at the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been doing that?
I have been a deputy for 20 years.
This past July, you were working with the Sheriff's Office, correct?
Correct.
Any particular role?
Currently, I perform full-time patrol duties for the Village of Windsor.
Tell me about that. Village of Windsor. First, let's start. I don't know where everybody's from. Where's the Village of Windsor?
Just north of Madison and just south of Village of DeForest.
And they don't have their own police department?
They do not.
And so they have a contract with the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Correct.
What kind of things do you do as the guy who's assigned to be essentially their police officer?
Same thing most other police agencies would do. We provide daily patrol, call taking, other community services, blood drives, stuff of that nature.
Where is your home base when you're over there? Do you have like a precinct you work out of, or how's that work?
So there's two facilities up in the Northeast area. We have a Dane County Sheriff's Office Northeast Precinct, and then we have our own PD, which is located right in the heart of the Village of Windsor.
I'm going to take you over to July 7th of 2021. That day, were you asked to respond over to the Northeast Precinct for someone referencing a missing persons complaint?
I did, yes.
Another deputy asked you to come over.
Yep, I heard a radio call from Deputy Nelson stating that there was someone at the Northeast Precinct, what we would call a walk-in, and wanted to report a missing persons. So I responded up to the Northeast Precinct to make contact.
Are walk-ins common at the Northeast Precinct?
Not typically, no. Most people call.
This person didn't call.
They did not.
Okay. You went over there?
I did.
And tell me what you found when you got to the Northeast Precinct.
So I walked into the the Northeast Precinct, what we would call the day room, it's where we have our desk and computers. And sitting at the table was a male who I later identified the Wisconsin driver's license as Chandler Halderson, and Deputy Nelson of the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
At this point, we're going to do an interesting procedure where everyone that's not in the jury is going to remove their
Here we
mask for
go.
a second, and the
Ready?
judge is going to count to 3.
If everyone would do so, please. 1,
Let's all do it together.
2, 3. Go right in.
Do you see the person here in the courtroom who you identified with the driver's license as Mr. Halderson, Chandler Halderson that day?
I do.
Tell me where he's sitting and what he's wearing.
He's sitting over at the desk to my right with a black tie.
And
Well,
that's the
you're
record
accelerated.
identification.
It shall.
What'd you do?
Are you at 1.25?
Asked him more or less
Yeah.
what was going on.
That's probably
and
why.
he
Still,
told
it was
me
more than
that he
3
had not had
seconds.
contact with his parents,
Yeah.
And it should have
that they
been
had gone up to their
less than
cabin,
3 seconds.
which is
Sure.
up north in Lang Lake County.
And you need to
and
join
he
in,
was
Sal.
concerned.
Did he give you any details at that
You
time?
need to
at the
join
Northeast
in. When it
Precinct about who
happens,
they
you
were
need to
with?
go.
He stated that he had left their residence
No,
in
it's
the village
fine
of Windsor
otherwise.
and had left with friends, and that they had gone up to this cabin to work on a fire pit and a water pump that might have been damaged during a storm.
Did he tell you at that time at the Northeast Precinct what car they were in, or if he knew what car they were in?
He did not mention anything about a car, and he provided some names of people that he might have gone up there or that they have gone up there with, but he was not for sure who they had gone with.
After you take this initial statement at the Northeast Precinct, what do you do?
Initially, we released Chandler from the Northeast Precinct, had a conversation with Deputy Nelson, at which point then we drove down to the residence down on Oak Springs in the village of Windsor, where we again made contact with Chandler,
Is that here in Dane County, Wisconsin?
and that's in the Dane County, yeah.
What was the purpose in going to the house?
Just to get a better overall picture of the whole situation, some follow-up questions with Chandler, just to try and nail down as to why he felt his parents were missing.
You probably know this neighborhood as good as anyone being assigned there, but just tell us about that general area they live. What's it like?
It's very well kept, very quiet. It's a two-way street, and it is actually the type of street that has a tree growing out of the middle of it, that's so that the 2 lanes have to go out and around this tree.
And the Halderson home is on the middle of the block.
It's in the middle of the block on the north side of the road. Yep.
In general, the Halderson home is one of many homes in that area that's on a pond that's behind the house, correct?
Correct.
When you get to the house, did you go right in or did you stay outside and talk for a while?
We just briefly made contact with Chandler outside, at which point we were invited inside. And then we continued our conversation and interview inside the residence.
Sure. Where'd you go in the house when you first went in?
Immediately, just like in your standard entryway, open up to the living room and dining room area. At which point he asked us if we wanted to look around the house. At which point I said yes. I believe the first place he took me was upstairs, went up the stairway, pointed out some bedrooms and another room that was off to the left, which I observed was under construction or renovation. So it was down to the studs and insulation. There was nothing else in there except some laundry machines.
Oh. Where'd you go next in the house?
After that, went back down to the main living area, at which point he went partially downstairs. I did not go downstairs, but he did point out a set of couches that had been pushed together. And he stated that he had been sleeping down there because it was closer to a bathroom that was downstairs.
Let's talk about that for a second. The room in which the couches were pushed together, was that the room with the fireplace in it? One of the fireplaces?
I believe so, yes.
And you say they were pushed together. What do you mean by that, if you could describe it better?
So if you think of your average couch and how it looks, take another couch and push it up against it so it looks just like a square or a box. And that's what he was using as a bed, supposedly.
And he told you that that was needed because it was close to the bathroom?
Correct.
Did Chandler tell you why it was important that he be close to the bathroom?
Just that the room that was upstairs and under construction was the other bathroom, and there was no functioning plumbing up there at that point, I guess.
Were you talking to Mr. Halderson around this time and kind of interviewing him further as he was showing you around the house?
I did. At one point, he did hold up a neck brace and said that was another reason why he had been downstairs. But again, started to ask him again about why he felt that his parents were missing. And he stated that he had attempted multiple phone calls to try and get a hold of them, and the phone had gone straight to voicemail.
Did you at some point attempt to call Bart and Krista Halderson using the numbers that Chandler was able to provide you?
I did. And again, my phone calls went right to voicemail as I tried to contact their phones.
All of these folks that you said Chandler gave a few names of people potentially that he thought his parents might be with, friends and things of that sort, were those people contacted ultimately?
He was able to provide me with one phone number for the names that he provided me. And from that point on, we were able to get additional contact info for those people. So we started reaching out to them. I also asked about employment information for the two subjects, at which point he provided those. So again, we started reaching out to employers. all in attempts to try and get in contact with him.
At this point, maybe you'd call this kind of your standard missing person stuff.
Pretty standard, yeah.
Were any of those conversations with potential people that the Haldersons might be with fruitful? Meaning, did you learn that they were with any of those people?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer.
From the contacts that were had while I was there, no one had contact with the two subjects.
When you were in the Halderson home, did he walk you down into the actual basement of the house?
I personally did not go into the basement, no.
Did Chandler make any comments to you about things his
Probably a
parents
good
may
thing.
have packed, before going to the cabin?
He did. He stated that they had grabbed several bottles of liquor. He said the norm that they might take a bottle or two, which would include a bottle of wine. He then went on to tell me that his father had grabbed a
Lefty's
large
nice.
sum of cash, about $4,000, and this was also unusual, saying that they would only usually take a couple hundred, and that maybe they were going to a casino at this point.
A casino.
Did he give you any time on when he thought his parents had left?
He was very specific and stated that they had left at 6 a.m., which I believe was on July 2nd.
6 a.m. on the Friday.
On Friday, yes.
Okay. Did he say that he saw them leave?
He did not.
And at any point in your contact with Mr. Halderson, either at the precinct, at the home, was he actually wearing that neck brace that he showed you?
He was not wearing the neck brace.
What was his demeanor like as he was making these reports to you? How was he acting?
He seemed very matter of fact, just as you would be telling someone about your day. To me, there was no sense
Yeah.
of urgency.
Did he cry at any point or anything like that?
He did not.
1 second, Deputy.
How dare he not cry?
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Deputy Seeley, had you ever met Chandler Halderson before?
Not that I can recall, no.
That's all, thank you.
Can you redirect? No. May this witness be excused from
What?
further testifying and his subpoena?
Yes.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you so much, Deputy. Have a good rest of your day.
What a weird only question to ask. Have you ever met him before? No. Okay, bye.
State House Deputy Haley Collins LaClaire.
Do you find that weird, Sal?
There's not much to.
Like, I know there's not much to ask, but why just that one question?
Yeah, it's weird. Better than nothing.
Have you ever met him before? No. Okay, bye.
It's 2 different sheets.
Oh, hey, MG.
Deputy, I would ask if you believe you can do so safely and responsibly that you testify without a mask.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you.
safely and responsibly. Yeah, sure.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, spelling both your first and last
She
name?
decided to
Haley
chew gum.
Collins Lefevre,
Cutie.
HAYLECOLLINS-LEFEVRE.
How are you employed?
I'm employed as a
Yeah,
deputy sheriff
nice.
with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
And were you employed
Maybe.
as such on July 7th, 2021?
Yes, I was.
And
I
when did
thought
you
she
first
was
become involved
gonna
in
use
the
it.
Halderson case, the missing person case?
Maybe.
Are the-
Mr. Halderson.
Are the
I had
handcuffs
received
take
some
home
communication
issue?
with my partner, Deputy Seeley, prior to the start of my shift on July 7th, stating that he requested that I respond to the Halderson home shortly after checking on. And that's how I became informed and notified of the call.
And about what time was that? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Shortly after
that
1
would have been a
PM.
better question.
And do you in fact go to the home?
I did go to the residence.
And on the Elmo, there's Exhibit 1. Was that the home that you went
Elmo.
to, the Oak Springs address?
Yes, it is.
What did you do once you got to the house?
I met Deputy Seeley outside on the front porch, and he just briefly summarized for me the information that he had already gathered.
Okay, then what'd you do?
Oh, we're gonna get video for
Deputy Seeley
Bradley
took a phone
Hill.
call, and then
Today.
at that point I went inside the
Really?
home and
He was sentenced to
was
130
introduced
years.
to Chandler.
Okay, and the judge is going to ask everybody who's not a juror to remove their mask for 3 seconds.
If
Ready,
you
ready?
would, please, for the count of 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Do you recognize anyone in the courtroom as Chandler Halderson?
I do.
Could you please identify him by where he's seated and the color of his shirt?
He is seated at the defense table wearing a light purple shirt.
And did you end up talking with Mr. Halderson?
I did.
What, if anything, did Mr. Halderson tell you about his parents being missing?
Well, I was a little hesitant to ask a lot of follow-up questions because I knew Deputy Seeley had already asked him a lot. But in the small talk that we had, it began with me asking if his parents had had any medical issues.
Okay, and what did you learn?
He told me that his dad, his psoriasis had recently flared up, and he also needed stronger reading glasses. In regards to his mom, he said that the week prior, she had been diagnosed with skin cancer.
Okay.
Really?
What did the defendant tell you next?
he had said, in regards to the skin cancer, I'd asked about how did his mom take that? What was her demeanor? And he said that she was very nonchalant about that diagnosis, that it had been, she had known about this for about 15 years, but the actual diagnosis had been just the week prior.
Why did you ask about those medical conditions?
Just to determine if for their safety, if we should be doing a bit more on our end from the law enforcement standpoint. In addition to the skin cancer, he had mentioned that she had had a mini stroke a few years prior. And as a result, she had brain lesions, which now that she was experiencing frequent headaches and some forgetfulness and also a change in her speech. So we were also possibly concerned of a medical issue with Mrs. Halderson.
Sure. What did you do next?
Continued to speak with him, asked a variety of questions, again, just small talk and, again, not trying to maybe ask the same questions that Deputy Seeley had done, but continued small talk with Chandler.
At some point, does he talk to you about what his parents took to the cabin?
He did. He told me that he had helped his parents pack on Thursday, July 1st, and that they had packed their own bags for clothing, but he had helped his mom pack her medication, and had also packed for them some tools, also food, phone chargers, and then tools. And when I asked him specifically what tools he had helped pack for them, he said they were all for cabin repairs, and they included a wrench, a hatchet, a bow saw, some additional saw blades, as well as 2 10-gallon containers for gasoline.
Okay. Did he talk to you about any cash or valuables that were packed?
He did. He told me that he was aware that his parents had taken a large sum of cash out of a safe. He did not disclose to me any sort of estimate as to the amount of cash, but that there was a large sum of cash taken from a safe that they took with them, and also a larger than normal amount of alcohol that they took also.
Did he elaborate on the need for the cash or the alcohol or anything else to the best of your recollection?
In regards to the cash, no, he did not know why they would have taken that much. As far as the alcohol, he assumed that given his mom's recent cancer diagnosis, that maybe she was a bit more stressed and overwhelmed, and that has led to more alcoholic drinking by his mom.
Who, if anyone, did Chandler Halderson say picked up his parents?
He claimed that he did not know the couple that picked them up. He said, and I asked a variety of ways multiple times, trying to determine if we could figure out who these people were. And he claimed that he had also asked his parents on Thursday the 1st who these friends were that he was going with, and they were not direct with him and never told him the friends that they were going up to the cabin with.
Did Chandler Halderson give you any information about the time his parents supposedly left to go to the cabin?
He did. He told me that he woke up at 6:15 a.m. on Friday the 2nd, and his parents were not home. So he told me that his estimated time frame that was of when they left was somewhere between 4 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. When I asked him why he felt that was the time frame, he again reiterated that he had woken up at 6:15 and they weren't there, and that any time before 4 a.m. didn't seem like a realistic time frame that his parents would have gotten up to leave for the cabin.
Sure. What other sorts of information were you trying to learn at that point in time in talking with Chandler?
Again, just trying to, it seemed odd that there were a lot of details given for other things in regards to medical history and what he helped them pack, but in regards to them actually physically leaving and who they were with, there were not as many details, which seemed a bit unusual.
At any point, did you inquire as to what Bart and Krista Halderson typically wore as far as clothing?
I did. Again, if we were.
Why did you ask for that information?
Again, if we were trying to potentially, of course, in a situation like this, our minds are kind of going all over the place and trying to think of all the possibilities and things that could have happened. So as a way for us to maybe more easily identify them or be able to pass information along to maybe other agencies or other resources to try and help them, wanted to be able to provide as much information as possible. And so I did ask if they are known to wear certain types of clothing on a fairly regular basis. And he said that his mom generally wears long sleeve shirts and baseball hats and would be wearing light blue Brooks brand shoes. And that his dad was likely wearing cargo shorts, also Brooks brand shoes, and t-shirts that generally have some sort of graphic or like a beer logo or something on them.
Were they described as cheesy dad joke t-shirts?
Yes, they were. Yes.
So you walked around the home. What, if anything, did you observe?
So it's a tri-level home where you walk in and it's the main level with the living room, dining area, and a kitchen. And there were blankets or canvas like over some of the furniture in the living room. dining room table, lots of mail and things on the table. In the kitchen there didn't seem to be anything overly glaring that would have.
Let's talk about that table. You said there was mail and things on it. Were there any like notes or instructions or anything that seemed to have been laid out?
Yes, Chandler had told me that he had had a doctor's.
Objection. I think that officer's going to lead into something that's going to call for hearsay.
But she didn't.
I don't know if I know enough about the question to rule.
I may have jumped the gun a little too much, but.
Let me go ahead and have the question restated or stated as you asked it.
Sure. What did you observe on the dining room table?
I observed several insurance cards that Chandler claimed were left out by his mom because he was going to be having, or had a couple days prior had told me that he had had a doctor's appointment, and so his mom left the insurance cards out for him. There was also a note that he claimed was written by his mom saying.
Objection, hearsay.
As to the content of the note?
Correct.
Point we approach.
Oh, what the hell's going on? Sorry. Jesus Christ. Wow. Okay.
The objection is overruled. You may answer. If you need the question repeated, go right ahead and ask.
Sure. I believe, Deputy, I was asking you concerning a note that you observed on the dining room table.
Yes.
And just very briefly, what were the contents of that note and what did Mr.
I
Halderson
will
tell
know
you?
that that's likely to happen in future.
The note stated something to the effect of, I hope you have a great day. And then it left a phone number for Pam. And it said just in case on the note. And Chandler told me that that was a note left by his mom for him.
In connection to their visit to the cabin?
Yes.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 35.
That chewing gum is driving me absolutely mental.
Exhibit 35.
There's tissues there, lady.
Exhibit 35 is the
Spit it
note that
out.
I saw on the kitchen table. And based on Chandler's telling, this was his mom's note to him saying, hope your day goes really well, with a phone number for Pam saying just in case.
And it's in one of these fancy evidence bags. Is that fair, Exhibit 35?
Yes.
So I mean, it was collected by your department.
It's a fancy evidence
So this is gonna be
bag.
the actual
Not
note
just a regular
that
one.
you observed on the dining room table.
It appears it is, yes.
I would move Exhibit 35 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
And
It is received.
You may publish.
so there's this nice big sticker in the middle. And we can open that later, but it's hoping not to do it now. Roughly does the note say, good morning, Chandler. Hope your day goes really well. Pam, and a phone number, and just in case, and a heart and just signed you.
Yes.
Did Mr. Halderson give you any context of this note? Why would a 23-year-old, did you have any information as to why a 23-year-old was being left a neighbor's number?
Yes.
Objection. Speculation. Speculation. And
I'm sorry,
foundation. Sorry, speculation and foundation.
I can lay some foundation, that's fine.
Very good.
Deputy, did Chandler Halderson explain why this note was left to you?
Yes, he did.
Tell us, what was that reason?
He stated that a few weeks prior to our contact with him on the 7th, he had fallen down the stairs in the home and had hit the front and back of his head, which resulted in a concussion, and he said also a small hemorrhage in his brain. His mom was very concerned about leaving him alone for the weekend with no one else at the home to kind of care for him or make sure that he was okay. So he told me that this note was left with Pam's phone number to have Pam, or I'm sorry, for him to call Pam if he needed anything while they were gone
Be
over the
patient,
weekend.
lads. It's coming.
That's kind of a lot of information. I'm going to unpack it just a little bit. So Chandler Halderson told you he fell down the stairs a few weeks prior to you meeting him.
Yes, he did.
And he said he hit both the front and the back of his head during that fall.
Yes,
That's true. And, hi,
and therefore
Irish. How
suffered
are you?
a concussion
that's what he told me.
and a hemorrhage.
Correct.
Did he tell you any other side effects or medical issues as a result of this fall?
Recall that he said he was having headaches and some tingling in his legs.
And that's the context in which he said his mother, or the reason his mother left Exhibit 35 in anticipation of the weekend.
Yes.
Did he tell you anything about any upcoming doctor's appointments or doctor's appointments that were scheduled to have occurred?
For himself, I believe it was for Monday the 5th. He had said he had a doctor's appointment scheduled. And then his mom also had an appointment on July 7th, which was also cause for concern for him because he claimed that she has now missed the appointment because she had not returned home.
During the course of your investigation, did Mr. Halderson present any proof or any evidence that he had been contacted by his parents since July 1st, 2021?
Yes, he had shown me a text message on his phone that he stated was from his mom, and he'd received that shortly after 11 a.m. on July 4th, and it stated something to the effect of, "We made it, we're going to a parade, and we will be home late Monday or early Tuesday."
And of course, you're meeting on a Wednesday.
Correct.
Mr. Halderson. At some point during the course of your part of the investigation, do you have Mr. Halderson fill out missing person certifications?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe what those are?
Yes, so in law enforcement, we have this form that we fill out for a missing persons report, and there's some criteria that need to be met. It can consist of someone who is physically or mentally disabled, someone under the age of 21 who we feel is in physical, they're in harm's way, someone who has been abducted or kidnapped, things like that. And Mr. Halderson was the one filling out the form stating that he was wanting to list his parents as missing, and it met criteria 6, which is that the person is over the age of 21 and they don't meet any of the above criteria, but there is reason to believe that their safety is in jeopardy.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 2. There's a front and a back, so I would ask that you observe both the front and back side.
Yes.
How would you describe Exhibit 2?
Exhibit 2 are the original copies of the missing persons forms, both filled out for Mr. Halderson and Mrs. Halderson. I signed the form as the witness for Mr. Halderson, and the form is signed by Detective Sims for Krista Halderson, and it's in a sealed evidence bag.
And did Chandler Halderson sign either or both of the forms of Exhibit 2?
He signed both forms.
I would move Exhibit 2 into evidence at this time.
Any objection? No objection. It is received.
It is received.
So just briefly, because I don't expect you to memorize, on the date that they were reported missing, how old was Bart Halderson?
Marked as 50 years old.
And how old was Krista Halderson?
53 years old.
And permission to publish Exhibit 2.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There we go. Oh, it's on the Elmo.
Sorry, I do not teach us how to work these things.
Shelly! Hello.
But just briefly, Deputy, the first form is for Bart Halderson,
Yes.
and the signature on that is for Chandler Halderson, dated July 7th of 2021.
Yes.
And then the second form is for a Krista Halderson,
Yes.
and again, signed and dated by Chandler Halderson on July 7th of 2021.
Yes.
She's like trying to move the chewing gum into the side of her mouth or something. So, yeah, she is, right? So she doesn't look like she's chewing anymore. Oh, no.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Probably
Here
a
we go.
smoker.
Maybe.
Okay. No questions, thank you.
May this witness be
No
excused and
questions.
released from her subpoena.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, Deputy. Have a good remainder of your day.
Have a good remainder of your day. He's so nice.
One moment, Judge. I'm going to keep the deputy under subpoena. She's excused for now.
All right, very good.
At this point, the state will call Detective Brian Schoen.
Okay, I think I'm pretty much done with people I want to stick with here, and I would like to move on to somebody else. Come on. Oops. Oh. No, I'm not interested in him right now. I would like to move on to this man here. If I decide
Anything from the defense?
If I decide to play that detective later, I will.
All right for the jury?
But for now, I would like to move on to Mr. Mitchell. As long as that's fine with Chad.
Please be seated, everyone. I didn't get there myself, but I heard it's cold outside. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being prompt. We had a couple of issues to take up outside of your presence. Let me inquire of you whether anyone inadvertently or intentionally was exposed to any information, any discussions, or participated in any discussions or investigation about the case while we were separated over the noon hour. I see no hands. As a housekeeping matter, I want to draw your attention to one thing. We do in this courtroom, and we're using this courtroom because it has a media room which is behind you. And that's intentional because the media is directed to not show the faces of any jurors. That's an important part of our protection and our honoring your participation as citizens unwillingly, although I hope willingly, through this process. It was pointed out to me that if I do at any point in time invite you to go ahead and stand and stretch, that if you turn around in that process towards the media window, you might inadvertently be photographed or recorded. And so I just wanted to mention that to you so that if you're doing that at any point in time, or even if you're deciding your neck is stiff and you're going to just aim your head in a different direction, be cautious about the fact that over your left shoulders, there's a camera on the other side of the wall, and they're certainly doing their best to not accidentally record anyone, but they're also relying on your position within the courtroom as they're filming other things that go on. So I just wanted to mention that to you folks. Thank you. Let's proceed with testimony. Attorney Raymond.
Yes, the state's going to call Mitchell Halderson to the stand.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Right, so this is
if you are
Chandler's
able
brother.
to safely and responsibly, I would appreciate your testifying without a mask if you could.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
How does he know what's responsible? I feel fine.
Good afternoon.
guy.
Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
My name is Mitchell Halderson, and that's Mitchell, and then Halderson is HAL, D as in David,
Yeah,
ERSON.
his brother, that's right. Half Irish. Cool. Like, literally, you
What are the
change your
names of
name,
your
didn't you?
parents, Mitchell?
Bart and Krista Halderson.
And do you have any siblings?
I do.
And who's your sibling?
Chandler.
I did have a sibling.
Where'd you grow up?
Was born in this area in Dane County, and then between 3rd and 4th grade moved up to Plymouth, Wisconsin, which is in Sheboygan County, and then have lived around here for college and work after high school.
Okay. And so I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 27. Could you describe Exhibit 27, please?
That would be a picture of my parents, actually a crop photo that I am also in. We are at the New Glarus Brewery.
Can we see it?
And that was a somewhat recent, in the last couple of years photo.
Yes, within the last 4, I forget exactly.
Okay. And is that going to get you an accurate copy of that picture?
Yes.
Okay, I would move Exhibit 27
Any-
into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It may be published. It is received.
Oh, there it is. That photo.
So how old was your dad, if you know?
No.
He was born in 71, so in July he just turned 50.
And your mom, she was a few years older?
Correct, about 3.
What did your dad do for a living?
He was an accountant.
Do you remember the name of the firm that he worked with last?
BDO USA.
And he did taxes and things like that, or?
Yes, specifically with small businesses. This is his specialty.
So is he kind of a money savvy sort of person?
I would say so. Definitely had finances, understood them well.
Does he believe in banks?
Yeah.
Believe in banks.
How old was your mom?
My mom was 53.
What'd your mom do for a living?
Was a stay-at-home mom for us growing up and has recently gone back to work as a receptionist at a car company.
was your dad like as a parent? Just very briefly.
He worked a lot, so slightly absent during the time, but I would say had good expectations for us and overall was a good parent.
How would you describe your mom as a parent? Just briefly.
A bit of the typical helicopter parent, very involved in our everyday lives, but again, because she cared.
Okay. So she stayed in communication with you often? Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
What is the age difference between you and your brother Chandler?
18 months.
And are you the older or younger sibling?
I am the older.
And just for the record, I think the judge is going to ask everyone but the jury to remove their mask for a few seconds. Do you see your brother Chandler Halderson in the courtroom today?
If everyone could lower their masks briefly, and after 1, 2, 3, replace your masks. Thank you.
I do.
Could you please describe by where he's seated and what sort of
Hey,
maybe
he
the color
didn't
of his
count.
shirt?
Table to the right with a purple shirt and a suit.
I'm going to catch COVID in this
Have a
amount of
cast record
time.
reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
That's why Chandler caught COVID.
Clearly.
So Mitchell, if you're 18 months older, are you 24 or 25? Right.
Just turned 25.
Okay. And in July of 2021, where were you working and what did you do?
I work at
That
Epic
was so
Systems, and I'm
unsafe.
a technical services representative.
A computer guy.
Sure, yes.
And are you married, single, something else?
Engaged.
Engaged. Okay. And how long have you been engaged?
Plot twist,
Little
it's a
radio.
cat.
Okay. And you live in the Dane County area?
Yes.
A
In house,
helicopter
condo,
parent is a
something
parent
else?
that flies a
In-house.
helicopter. Davon.
And just briefly,
Yeah.
in June
Obviously.
of this last year, 2021, you had a significant health episode.
You're being
Is that
sarcastic,
a fair
right?
statement?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. What occurred?
No, they fly a
I went to
helicopter.
the doctor for a regular scheduled
It's a
appointment
parent
since I
that
hadn't gone
hovers
during
around
COVID
the
and
child
wanted to
all
get
the
blood work
time
done,
and is
I was
super.
diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
And in
Like-
fact, you were hospitalized for a period of time.
Yes,
Um,
that is true.
They don't
Was
give the
your
kid
mom
any
or
freedom.
dad, did they seem concerned to you at all?
Yes,
You kind of laughed there. Why'd you laugh?
my mom was overly concerned.
How did she express that?
Not as much to me, trying to not show me that, but I have heard later on that she called her best friend many times crying.
Okay. Growing up and moving into recently, what sorts of things did you and your brother Chandler do?
Since we didn't live in the same house, we would do things online, like play video games and just talk that way.
Okay. What sort of video games did you play?
Wide array, but generally first-person shooter games.
Okay. And did your brother have a favorite weapon or gun in these games?
Usually those of Russian descent.
Okay. Like the SKS?
That's correct.
And in fact, during your illness, your brother gave you a gift. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What did he give you?
A unknown type of bullet with the words "get well soon" on it.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 26. How would you describe Exhibit 26?
That is the same one.
That's the bullet that your brother gave you and wrote to get well on.
Yes.
Move Exhibit 26 into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
It is received. It may be published.
It is received.
I don't think the overhead is going to do justice, but it just says get well. I want to turn your attention to when your parents went missing this year. How did you learn
That's
that your
right,
parents
half
were
Irish.
potentially missing?
His name was Smithy.
I don't remember the exact date, but I did receive
Yeah,
a call from my mom's
Mercado.
best friend that had let me know that they had gone up, she had heard that they had gone up to the cabin.
Okay,
So I did not suspect them missing at that time. I just had heard that.
okay. And what is your mom's best friend's
Hi,
name?
Eris,
That would be
and thank
Jane
you.
Folkendorf.
Okay. So you get a call, and in fact, you call her Aunt Jane.
I do.
Okay. So you get a call from your Aunt Jane. What do you do, if anything, in response to that call?
I don't recall the exact events, but I did not think much of it because they would be known to go up to the cabin during
And
the summer.
let's talk about that. So your parents own a cabin.
Correct.
Where is that cabin?
Langley County, Wisconsin.
Okay. And how would you describe that cabin?
My grandpa had built it, so it was mostly wood logs, pretty run-of-the-mill, what you would think of as a rustic cabin.
Okay. Is it on waterfront, in the forest, something else?
Yes, it is on Sawyer Lake, Wisconsin.
Is there any other outbuildings associated with this cabin, such as a shed or a boathouse or anything like that?
Both of those. There is a shed out in the front, a boathouse in the back, and a in-shambles treehouse in the front yard as well.
Okay. And did your parents own a boat of any sort?
I believe so. There was definitely a canoe. I don't believe there was a full boat, or at least not that I remember.
And nothing like a pontoon or a ski boat or something?
Nothing with a motor that I'm remembering.
How often do you believe your parents went to the cabin?
They would at least open and close it every year and go probably 1 or 2 more times in addition to that, so 3 or 4 times a year over the summer.
Okay. And what were your parents' habits about keeping in touch or not keeping in touch with you in connection when they went to the cabin?
My mom would reach out any chance she could, so she would have told me.
Did your parents tell you in the last week of June or the very beginning of July any idea that they may be going to the cabin?
No.
So you first hear from your Aunt Jane. What is the next thing that happens that you remember in concerning your parents being missing?
The next thing I remember is Chandler texted me that he is worried about them.
Okay. What, if anything, did you do in response?
Asked more about why and just to hear what they had told him about leaving, because I didn't hear anything about it.
And what did you learn from Chandler?
That they had gone up north with friends, that he didn't know who those friends were and didn't know the car that they had taken.
Okay. What was your understanding of friends that may go to the cabin with your parents?
There is a list of people that I would have assumed. Do you want me to go through that list?
Sure.
That would be my Aunt Jane, Uncle Mike, also Dan and Mary Sesto, who lived on the same street, as well as Gail and Rick Kanapeki, who you might also hear from. And I had reached out to each one of those families and had heard back that none of them were the ones that had gone up north.
Did you have any understanding about who would drive when your parents went to the cabin?
Unless it was one of those 3, I would assume that they would drive because they're the ones that know the way. And there are certain folks, notably Dan Sesto, that goes up there often enough that I would understand driving, but nobody else.
Okay. What happens next as far as you're concerned with your parents? What's the next piece of news you learn?
Eventually, a detective comes to my house, Rich Bennett, in order to just ask some more questions of me during the investigation. I believe that was the next thing that had occurred.
Okay. What happened after that?
I believe it was a Wednesday. It was whatever day Chandler was originally arrested. I had actually gone up to the cabin myself in order to check it out, just to see what was going on.
And why did you go to the cabin?
Wanted to do something myself about it. I felt like I needed to do something.
So at this point on Wednesday or whatever day you ended up going to the cabin, were you fairly concerned?
Yes.
Okay. And what led you to being so concerned?
Not having heard from them, not being able to get a hold of them, and not being told that they had gone up there to begin with.
So during this time period that you learned they're missing, did you reach out to your mom or dad via text or phone calls?
Yes.
Did you hear anything back?
No.
And did that concern you?
Yes.
At any point during the time that you learned your parents were missing, did anybody tell you that perhaps they were out gambling?
I don't believe during that period of between July 1st and July 7th I had heard anything about gambling.
Okay. Let me just ask, were your parents gamblers?
No.
Have you ever been to a casino with them?
No.
To your knowledge, have they ever taken a vacation with entertainment that is gambling?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Were your parents big drinkers?
They've gotten more into drinking, I'd say, since they moved back down to Windsor. Yes, but not huge drinkers, no.
Did you ever know your parents to drink tequila?
My mom would drink margaritas, but not from mixing it herself. It was the Costco brand pre-made stuff.
Okay. Did you know either of your parents to drink gin?
No, I do not.
Did your parents take their work or their jobs seriously, not seriously, or something else?
Very seriously.
To your knowledge, have they ever no-called and no-showed for work in the past?
That would be very strange for them to do.
It's such a stupid story for Chandler to make up. It's just so dumb.
Yeah. So pointless.
It's just like they took all this money and went with these people that
so you
no
go
one
north,
knows.
And you meet the
They went to a
deputy up there.
casino.
Correct.
What do you do once you're out there?
Before the deputies arrived, I took a lap around the cabin
You
myself just
loser.
because I didn't want to wait outside any longer. Eventually, Langley County, I guess the deputies, I believe they were sheriffs and deputies, met us there. And eventually I took another walk around the property with them, just pointing out things that I noticed. And also they busted into the doors because they were all locked and the keys that I had were not working.
Okay. And at any point, obviously, you did not find your parents up there.
No.
Did you find any signs at all that they had been there?
Nothing looked like it had been used. There was a couple pieces of trash around, but I believe that's just because sometimes people will walk through the property on the way, either between properties or just on the way. Either way, I do not believe it had been used anytime recently.
Mitchell, I want to ask you a few things about your brother and what you knew in June and July of 2021.
Hang on. I'm just going to pause it for a sec. Chandler must have not waived his speedy trial because it's 2021 hang on.
It was
No.
after Rittenhouse.
Yeah. So this all happened this was the trial was January of 2022.
2.
And this all happened mid 2021.
July.
Right? Yeah, July 4th. Like the
Okay,
weekend
then
of
yeah,
July
no,
4th.
he didn't. Then he did not waive it. Interesting.
Yeah, he must have gone straight in. Yeah. So
Interesting.
Mitchell has lost his parents
because
within the last 6 months.
Yeah,
At this
because they
point.
kept finding body parts and more, like the
Yeah.
gun and different stuff kept turning up. So I
Popping
guess
up.
the longer it went on, I wonder
Yeah.
if they're still finding body parts.
I don't know.
I mean, they're still out there. So
Yeah.
well, you got a toe here.
But I'm looking at Mitchell right now and going, how long was it at this point since he lost his parents? And it really was only 6 months.
Okay.
So it was fresh.
Yeah.
Like, this is not years later. This is
Yeah. Well, I know
only a few
Kat
months later.
and her mom were still talking to him and supporting him.
Yeah.
Chandler, for
Yeah.
a few months, like right
For a
before the
while.
trial.
Yeah, they didn't realize
And then I think they
how
met with the
much information
prosecutor.
there was. Yeah.
Yeah, because they met with the prosecutor and were like, oh, shit.
Well,
I did the text messages. It might be worth you doing them. Like the jail calls or jail messages between Chandler and Kat.
Yes. I saw
And
those.
okay, and like the Kat's interrogation.
Yeah.
Those are really funny.
Yeah. Kat didn't have all the information though. Like
No.
the cops didn't tell her all the stuff we heard at opening, for example.
Yeah.
That was like very comprehensive.
Yeah.
And like all the stuff with the cell phone pinging and the emails and all that stuff that led up to this situation here. And just not even that, just the murder weapon with the tissue all over it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she screenshotted him at Lake Wisconsin, exactly where the mother's legs were found.
Yeah.
So I mean, she wouldn't have known any of all that when she was still texting him and saying, I love you, are you okay? She would have found that out much closer to trial.
Yeah.
So that would still be fresh information. And I don't know with Mitchell how much information he would have known getting closer to trial. You'd think they would have made him aware. You'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope. But regardless, I mean, he has lost his parents really recently. And
do you have to take your kid to school, by the way?
No.
Okay.
It's school holidays.
Still?
And she's decided that she's a teenager now and she sleeps in, which is really interesting.
Nice.
So, yes, she used to wake up and drive me crazy, but not so much anymore. It's
nice.
Kind of good. Anyway, I was just curious because, like, he holds himself together really well here.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Where,
he might
anywhere
still
did
be
you
in
believe your
denial.
brother worked in June of 2021?
I believed at American Family.
What did you think he did there?
Answering questions on a message board, things you can do from remotely.
Your understanding is working from home like most people?
Yes.
Did you have any understanding about his payment schedule or anything like that in connection with American Family?
No, I wasn't really told much about that.
Yes.
Did you,
That's something else.
when he was arrested in July of 2021, were you under the impression he was still working at American and Family?
I wasn't.
What, if anything, did you believe about your brother Chandler's schooling?
Believed he had not currently graduated yet, but was attending online classes at MATC.
And what did you believe he was studying?
Renewable resource engineering was the general consensus I had.
Did you have any knowledge about when he was scheduled to graduate or?
No.
Okay. And
good. Glad you
in
didn't get
June
your
of
hopes up about that,
2021,
Mitchell.
your brother suffers a fall.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What, if anything, did you know about
the
that fall?
I was told that while my dad was home working, he had heard a thud and that he went upstairs to find my brother on the ground next to the staircase or on the staircase.
And did you see your brother in June of 2021?
In June, I did, yes.
Okay. What, if any, sort of lingering medical effects did he have, to your knowledge?
I wasn't aware of a lot. I believe there was general numbness, I was told, kind of during that, and overall tiredness as well.
Did you know anything about any potential long-term damage?
I don't believe that I was told enough yet. It seemed like it was still under evaluation.
And did you know anything about appointments in the future?
I actually did. I was told by Chandler during that, between the time frame, I don't remember the exact date, between July 1st and July 7th, that he had an appointment, and he was asking if I could help give him a ride in case he needed one.
Okay. Did you guys ever firm up any plans to take him to his appointment?
We had offered a ride if needed, but he never ended up needing it.
Okay. And do you know roughly what date you were diagnosed with diabetes?
Diabetes.
If the weekend was June 13th to 15th, it was in the middle of the month, whatever weekend around there.
And did Chandler's fall occur before or after or during your hospitalization?
After.
Okay. Within days?
I don't remember. Could have been a week.
Okay. Other than Chandler seeming tired, did you personally observe any differences to Chandler's physical appearance?
Just the neck brace, but no, nothing else.
Did you observe any difficulty he had walking?
I don't think so, no.
Did you observe any weakness of limbs, picking things up, anything like that?
I didn't see him pick much up either, so I guess I can't say.
Okay. So Mitchell, I need to ask you a few difficult questions. Are you a beneficiary for your parents' life insurance?
I am.
Oh.
How much
Even
do you
more
believe
now.
that you will end up getting out of life insurance because of their deaths?
Okay, I want to stop for a second and answer a question. So, what does his having diabetes have to do with anything? Well, okay.
Good
So
question.
that is a good question. So Mitchell was diagnosed with diabetes, and it was quite serious. I think type 1, was it, Sal?
Yeah. Yeah, because type
Yeah.
2 is, I think, just when you're obese. So
Yeah. So
type 1 is like an issue with the pancreas.
correct. So Mitchell was diagnosed with diabetes, and so he's very ill. And he was suddenly getting all the attention in the family. His mum and dad, especially his mum, just started lathering, putting all the attention onto Mitchell. And Chandler, I suppose, got jealous and decided that he was going to have a fall. I don't know if he actually fell, but there was.
No, I don't think he did. I think he
Yeah.
pretended.
Yeah, I think the consensus is that he pretended, but I don't know whether there was some sort of like actual incident, but it was blown way out of proportion. Yeah. And Chandler then ended up going to the doctors or hospital or something and got a neck brace and all these things, like ended up supposedly needing a colostomy bag, needed a hole drilled in his neck or head or something, and couldn't walk, couldn't have full use of his legs, and all these terrible things. And it all turned out to just be a ruse in order to put attention onto himself. So that's why that's relevant. So because it all happened within like a week of Mitchell being diagnosed. Quite strange. Very strange.
Very.
Really weird. And everyone
We have
believed
a few
it.
different policies.
Yeah.
It is in
There was
the,
no question.
if I'm remembering correctly, it is in the ballpark of around $1 million.
That includes the house as well.
Yeah, I don't believe that's including the house, actually.
Have you been paid out anything as of today?
No.
Yeah.
Is anybody else
Righteous
listed as a
bucks.
beneficiary?
I believe it went to my mom first. If my dad's death had preceded my mom's, I guess their policies listed each other as primary, but then yes, also my brother was listed in the same line as I was.
And Mitchell, did you have anything to do with your parents being
The doctor
going missing?
No.
And were
couldn't
you
rule
fully
out
cooperative in the investigation?
Yes.
it wasn't a
Did you
concussion, but basically they were like, well, it's not very, if it is a concussion, it's not very serious.
Yeah.
But they
I
couldn't
remember
rule out
something
that
like
it wasn't a concussion.
Yeah.
So, and then he just exaggerated it or is His doctor didn't sign off on it. He just kind of lied to everyone else about what
There
happened.
was some very ambiguous doctor doctor letters and things like that admitted at some point into evidence. But nothing along the lines to corroborate the whole needing a hole drilled in his head or a colostomy bag or anything like that. Nothing like
Or
that.
not being able to go to Florida.
Definitely nothing about not being able to fly.
Not going on a plane.
No,
Yeah.
nothing like that. And yeah, I do believe the neck brace he would have bought himself because there was nothing put into evidence about him needing it. He just got a neck brace and he was wearing a neck brace. It's really bad. A colostomy bag, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. Okay, how much was the policy, Murph? Did they just say?
I think $1
Did I just
million.
miss that? I think it was $1 million.
Or no, that was
Yeah.
no, maybe it was $1 million.
Okay, they've stopped talking about
They
that,
just
haven't
said,
they? Should we go back?
Yeah, just a few
Actually,
seconds.
this one's got some closed captions. The last one didn't. Listed as beneficiary. Here we go.
Else listed as a beneficiary?
I believe it went to my mom first. If my dad's death had preceded my mom's, or I guess their policies listed each other as primary, but then yes, also my brother was listed in the same line as I was.
And Mitchell, did you have anything to do with your parents being missing?
I did not.
Going missing?
Yeah, I didn't say.
And were you fully cooperative in the investigation?
Yes.
Did you provide a
I
DNA
thought
or
it
a
was $1
buccal
million.
sample upon request?
Yes.
In fact,
Did you provide
I remember that really
proof
clearly,
of
but it must have
work
been
during the
in
first
some
week
other
in July
testimony.
upon request?
I did.
And
greedy.
did you
Greedy bloke.
participate in multiple interviews with multiple different officers?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Halderson. My first questions have to do with you living at that house in Windsor, Wisconsin. Did you ever live there yourself?
I would never have listed that as my address, no. But I have stayed there over weekends.
And before July of 2021, you would be at that home 1 or 2 times a month, perhaps, to visit?
You know, probably in the ballpark of two to three, possibly even 4 times a month. Yeah, we visited often because they were close.
And would those be overnight visits?
Occasionally, yes.
And when you say we, is that with your fiance?
That's correct.
Now, in July of June of 2021, you did visit there on Father's Day, is that right? Let me rephrase that. You visited there for a Father's Day celebration,
That's correct.
but it wasn't on Father's Day.
I don't remember the date.
And that was a meal with everyone?
Yes. Yes. I believe I'm remembering the date you're talking about now, yes.
How many other times did you visit that home in June of 2021?
I don't believe I would be able to give an accurate number. A couple, but I don't remember the exact amount.
And is it fair to say that that would have been the number of times you saw your brother that month as well, in person?
That is correct, because yes.
You guys didn't get together other times?
No.
Now you did, or you did have a relationship with your brother online, is that right?
That's correct.
Mostly playing what are first-person shooter video games?
Mainly, yes.
Now, in direct testimony, you indicated that your brother was very interested in Russian guns, particularly the SKS, correct?
Yes.
And that interest goes back several years at least, right?
Yes.
How many years do you think that goes back?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
A long
Sure.
time. Is that
Yes.
true? And in fact, when you would play, he'd always pick that weapon if possible, correct?
Variety is something that's always nice, but yeah, it would definitely be an option. That would be one of his first pick, yes.
Really? How relevant's that though? Playing games.
Now, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the cabin. It's been a number of years since you've actually, before July of 2021, it was a number of years before since you actually went there, correct?
That's correct. I did not frequent it as often as my parents.
Do you remember the last time you went to the cabin?
I don't remember exactly which year, no. but it was probably in somewhere between 3 and 5 years. It had been a while.
And do you recall going to the cabin ever without your parents being with you?
No.
And when your parents would go to the cabin, you say maybe 4 times a summer, it wasn't uncommon that they would turn their phones off, correct?
I think cell reception has gotten better over the years. However, the area is a little spotty in cell reception, so it wouldn't be uncommon for them to turn them off to avoid roaming charges. But they would also power them back on occasion in order just to make sure that they would update us.
Over the weekend of July 4th, 2021, you weren't concerned about your parents until what point?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah, at what point did you become concerned about your parents?
So I was initially concerned because I hadn't heard of them going up. It wasn't to the level of filing a missing persons case until I had heard further from Chandler that he was is concerned enough in order to do that. So my concern grew as time went on. I would say around once that Monday, Tuesday date where they were supposed to return hit, I was definitely pretty concerned.
Do you remember talking to Deputy Seeley from the Sheriff's Department?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember if you ever told Detective Seeley that you yourself were not personally concerned at the time you were talking to Deputy Seeley?
I don't remember which day that was, and I also don't remember saying that.
Is that something you might have said?
Depending on the date, possibly, because as I said, my concern grew over time. So if it was early on, then yes, possibly.
So it's possible that at first you weren't that concerned, normal for your parents to go up north, but that your concern grew over time. Is that correct?
That is correct. I still was concerned because they hadn't told me beforehand that they had left. However, it wasn't as concerned as to file a missing persons report.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Any redirect, Attorney Raymond?
No.
Come
Mr. Halderson be
on.
excused and released?
Surely you've got
He's
something
excused
to
from his
ask
subpoena.
him.
For right now, he remains exempt from the sequestration order, but it remains under technical
So
subpoena.
you would still have an obligation to be recalled if recalled, and thus you have to follow the sequestration as if you hadn't testified so far. Thank you, sir. You can return back to the lobby or the waiting room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I'll note his exclusion from the sequestration order.
Oh, okay, I
Status.
see. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's an exclusion so that you don't have to stay or avoid the courtroom, even if you were to be recalled to testify. Thank you.
All right, so done with that for now. And let me just see for a second. And I have something in my ears. You guys can't hear that, can you?
Not anymore.
Can you hear that buzzing?
Not at the moment.
Good, because I can. And I'm just going to turn it off because that's driving me mental. All right, cool. All right, so what I wanted to do was I'm just going to tell chat that I'm going to test something. And you guys might be my boomerang. Good, thank you, Pixie. Thank you for telling me that, because the next video was buzzing in my ear and I need to turn that extension off that makes that happen. Because every time a new video comes up, I get like this, I have an audio booster extension and it makes the next video really, really loud in my ears every time it auto plays. So, and I get scared that you guys can hear it. I'm like, I hope you guys can hear it, but yeah.
No, you're fine.
It's just me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Mistakes happen.
Well, at least it's only happening in my ears, not for you.
Yeah.
That would be worse. Anyway, so speaking of potential boomerang, I'm going to use you guys as a little bit of a test right now, and this may or may not work, but bear with me because I have put a little bit of effort, just a tiny bit, into this. And let's just see. Wait a minute. Okay, save. And I'm going to press start. Okay, and now I'm going to go to here. Right. It may or may not work, but we're going to do a CHAZZLE pub trivia quiz. Ready? Everyone get excited.
Yay.
Get excited because in 1 minute and 36 seconds, we are going to start the trivia. So it's multiple choice. I know picks, right? Fun. Multiple choice. And you need to put into chat what the letter is of the answer. Okay? Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not. I hope it will, right? But if it doesn't, whatever. Cool. You heard trivia.
Yeah.
Yes, Murph. You heard trivia, right? Okay, you suck at these. Okay, well, this is all CHAZZLE trivia, right? And I think there's only like 8 questions or something. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, like I'm going to keep an eye on chat and look and see who got what right. So just there's no prizes or anything. This is just a test. Okay. I hope it picks up the letters that you've typed in from chat. This is going to be nervous. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. 30 seconds to go. 30 seconds to go. 30 seconds to go. How well do you know Chandler? How well do you know the Chaz case? How well do you know it? How well do you know it? Over the weekend, I was like, how can I make this more fun?
That's a great idea.
I know, right? But
Assuming it works.
I'm assuming it works. If it doesn't, though, I paid for it now. You know what? I paid for it.
Nice.
Because, yeah, I couldn't get to work. All right, here we go. Yay! The Halderson home backs onto a 1, a well-kept bush. 2, a two-way street. 3, a tree that divides the roads. Or 4, a pond. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. The Halderson home backs onto a. So 1, a well-kept bush. 2, a two-way street. 3, a tree that divides the roads. Or 4, a pond. Quick. 10 seconds to go. Backs onto a well-kept bush, two-way street, tree that divides the
I
roads.
like a well-kept bush.
A pond. Yeah. What is it? What is it back onto? Okay, cool. And the answer is ready. What's computing? Is it going to work?
3.
Is it going to work? Oh wow, it's going to take that long. Oh wow, it worked! Oh my god, it worked! Yay, Mads! Sorry, no. Yay. Who was it? Murph and I can't see that very well. Oh, Dave. Murph and Dave. Yeah, it's all from the trial, the whole thing. Yay, Murph and Dave. It worked. Oh my god, it worked. How cool. I'm going to do this all the time now. I paid for it. We're going to use it all the time. Okay, which of these people is not a CHAZZLE fake email identity? 1, Tom Selznick. 2, they're all Chaz fakes. 3, Daniel Spieth. Or 4, Aaron Hoover. Okay, which is not a CHAZZLE fake email identity, right? Is it 1, Tom Selznick, or 2, they're all Chaz fakes, 3, Daniel Spieth, or 4, Aaron Hoover? 1, 2, 3, or 4. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left, quick. Calculating. Oh, this is so much fun. Who got it right?
Yay.
Darlie got it right, Pixie got it right, and Murph got it right. Darlie, you can't play. Yeah, you can. You can play. That's fine. Yay! Yeah, they're all Chaz fakes. So I thought that a lot of people might think Aaron Hoover, but yeah, he was one. He was one. He didn't appear very much, but
Mm.
yeah, he was one. You like this too, Nina? Cool.
There's a lot of I was looking at this plugin. There's a lot of other stuff too you can do with it.
Yep. Okay, quick. Chandler's injuries included which potential complication? 1, requiring adult circumcision. 2, needing a hole drilled in his head. 3, have his limbs chopped off. Or 4, emergency lymphatic drainage. Which one?
Ooh, adult circumcision is not fun. No, I just know somebody that got it when he was 18 and like
Really?
had all these issues. Yeah, it was like swollen and just painful and pussy and ugh. Just get it done as a baby if you're going to do it.
Computing. A friend got the circumcision, Mads. Oh, really? That was a friend? Oh, yay. People have been listening. Oh, hey, Carlene. I didn't see you there. And hey, MNHS06.
It was
Well
actually
done,
a guy on a
everybody.
radio show I listened to. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Jesus, C-Swept. Why?
Why? I don't go to ask. Sorry, that's fine. No, that's his business. 3, 2, 1, and next question.
Where do babies come from?
What color was the judge's bow tie today?
Oh, hell, I
Yellow
don't know.
plaid, lime green, gray and black stripe, or blue plaid?
You had to. Next question. Why did C-Swep's grandpa get a circumcision in his 70s?
And I was sorry about the colors. It didn't show me a preview, so I didn't know that it was going to be blue on the black background. I'm way better designer than this. And you don't have time to rewind and look.
The hell I don't.
No. We need music for this.
That's a good idea.
Salvador and Paige got it right. That was a hard one. That was a tricky one. Hey! Luckily, we had it from the Purse House trial and we never got to use it.
I know. Okay, do we have another question? Chandler asked his mum to come home with 1, soda, 2, oat milk iced coffee, 3, beer, 4, barbecue sauce. For the barbecue. 1, soda, 2, oat milk iced coffee, 3, beer, 4, barbecue sauce. Computing. Now we need a sound effect that goes. I can't believe it works. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No, it was soda. Now, I think you remember oat milk. You remember oat milk iced coffee from Kat, because when I was either two.
That's what she was talking a lot about, the oat milk iced coffee and how he loved it. But no, that's not what he asked his mum for. He asked her to please bring home soda. And
It was
she
either
went,
1 or 2.
She went, no problem. Love you lots. Okay, the winner is Salvador with 3 correct answers. Murph has.
Oh, no.
She had 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Murph had 2 incorrect and 3 correct answers. Dave had 3 incorrect and 2 correct answers. And then we have other players. Carlene had 4 incorrects and 1 correct. Mads had 5 incorrect and 1 correct. Half Irish had 6 incorrect and 1 correct. Pixie, 7 incorrect and 1 correct.
That's why I clicked it.
Paige, you had 8 incorrect and 1 correct.
Well, she never heard of it before.
Yeah, that's fun. And MNHS06, you had 9 incorrect and 1 correct. A stupid game.
$1 dues.
We call them bucks. Aussie bucks.
You had 1 more answer than I had 1 less wrong answer.
Yeah, Murph, you're tied on correct answers. You're not tied on wrong answers.
I guess I missed 1.
Yeah. But look, as far as I'm concerned, you did equally badly. The game is fun. I'm just cranky for losing. Yeah, I know, Mads. I know. Losers Club, high five. That was fun. Yeah, no, definitely. Because the thing is, with this, I have been wanting to do this for a long time with court trivia, and especially with this case because there's so much fun stuff you can pull up for it. And I'm going to go to town with it when we have when I have Kat on the stand, and also with her lesbian mothers. So yeah, when those 3 witnesses get up there and start talking about the barbecue and the Target bag and all that kind of stuff, that'll be fun. But also, I'm planning on doing some just pure streams about just general trials and general gossip in our community for fun. So, yeah, I don't know what to call it yet. Help me with that, guys. If you want to come up with a bit of a, I'll give you a little bit of a challenge to help me come up with a name for court trivia or trial trivia or EU's trial mania. Don't know, something like that. But yeah, my co-host here, can help. And I'm thinking maybe run it like early evening, maybe you guys 7 p.m, something like that. No, so not like at the time that this stream started, maybe more the time this stream ends. That way, like the day's court can be over and can be kind of an evening thing. So it can go a bit longer than that. But yeah, that was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's just say, Lefty, if your name is Paige, you can send Sal a DM. The jury box, cute. How about maybe to do something to do with like the money or the evidence box? I don't know. You know how they get the thing out and they open it when the evidence boxes come out? How funny. Use sidebar trivia. Ooh, I like that. I like that. There's something else I wanted to show you. Oh, I got it. Hang on a minute. 2 seconds. So, if you just want to stick around for a couple of minutes, I have something hilarious. So, if you watched the Dingo Live just recently, the
the state, it's not actually called a state. I'm just going to put us back to here. The state that Lindy Chamberlain was in, not where she lived, but where the baby was taken. And do you remember I said it was not a state? It's called the Northern Territory. Yeah. So it's right in the middle.
I remember.
Yeah. Okay. So something funny has happened there in the last day, and I just wanted to.
You know what? Oh, damn! I have to do that now with Mark Jensen.
Sally, you are still
the trivia
with the trivia. That would be.
That's a really good idea.
That would be funny. Oh dear. Okay, so I've just got some files downloading here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know how a few weeks ago, the funny thing that everyone was talking about was what is a cream pie? Well, okay. And remember how I said that at the time? When I think of a cream pie, I think of not the dirty sense. I think of, like, you know how in the 70s and 80s slapstick humor was all people throwing cream pies at one another. Well, tell you what, in the Northern Territory, someone has thrown an actual cream pie at somebody, right? And when they did so, I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to share it. I'll stop sharing this screen. And I'll present a video file. Download video file. That'll do. Okay, so it's still not a, here we go. See this woman here in the foreground, she is a local real estate agent. And that woman that she's throwing a cream pie at, that's actually, it's kind of like the governor of the state, but because they're not a state, because they're not a state, and that's just my phone, because they're not a state, they're called the chief minister, right? So there we go, boom. And look at the smile on her. See the smile on her face as the woman comes up to her. Like it's actually, you can actually see her smiling. So I'll go back.
Oh, is that my friend Susie?
Yeah, I know, right? So there's that. So slow motion back. So this woman just comes right up to her and bare smacks her in the face with this pie. Look at that! Boom! Right now, okay, I'll show you something else. So present video file and downloads. Yeah. Just letting it upload. Here we go.
On the now to answer any of us concerned in the community.
I need to turn it around.
What a cream pie. Well, assaulting her in public. No, it's not an assault, it's a cream pie.
Hang on.
It's fresh
cream. Stop. Can I turn this sideways?
I don't know how.
Exactly. I've got another version of it.
Do you want to see the time Bill Gates got a pie thrown in his face?
No. Hang on. I've got another copy of this. I'll just get it. Sorry, I wasn't more prepared. I was just like, I've got an extra bit of time and I'm going to show it to you. There we go.
Now to answer any of us concerned in the coordinated effort. The incident was actually filmed and it was posted immediately. No.
Starts kind of back here.
Any harm whatsoever. It was just out of complete frustration, not being. No, I didn't.
Hang on.
Minor error. It's a. with a politician, a bank.
Might be able to start at the beginning.
To answer
Excuse me if some notifications come up on screen.
Do you think that's going a bit too far?
What a cream pie.
Well, assaulting her in public.
No, it's not an assault. It's a cream pie assault. It's fresh cream. How hard is fresh cream?
You said she doesn't talk to Territorians in public, she doesn't answer the questions. That was an opportunity. She was standing there, she smiled, she greeted you with a smile. That was an opportunity, surely.
No, she was walking straight off. Do you know she opened the Bendigo Bank on a Sunday with all her colleagues and had the bank manager there open on a Sunday just for her and her colleagues?
It was a celebration, it was the 15th anniversary.
Of what?
Of the Bendigo Bank opening, that branch opening.
So why do they have, with a politician, a bank opening on a Sunday? That doesn't add up to me.
Do you have any regrets about what happened yesterday? You're saying it's a cream pie.
It's a minor error. It's a slight error of a cream fresh pie. No, I didn't mean to cause her any harm whatsoever. It was just out of complete frustration, not being heard, ignored for 3.5, nearly 4 years.
On the film crew, you were filming. It appears it was a coordinated effort. The incident was actually filmed and it was posted immediately.
No, because that was with a bystander. She took the video, and because I had a little crew there backing me because we saw Heggy's car there, and I was actually talking to the guy.
Was it coordinated though? Was it a coordinated strike? You arranged to do that?
No, it wasn't. It was out of complete frustration. I did not want to cause her one bit of harm. I'm not even like that.
Didn't you? Do you acknowledge that you did? She has a black
It's a slight error. I don't believe that. I don't
it's
believe
a slight error.
Soft cream.
Didn't mean to.
I don't think
it's soft.
A bit too far though. To do that
Too far. Now, can
See, he goes with notifications.
Do you think a cream pie?
I'm like, stop it.
It's fresh cream.
Do you think it's an assault?
About what happened yesterday?
Here you go.
It's a cream pie.
It's a minor error. It's a slight error of a cream fresh pie. No, I didn't mean to cause
Yeah, so really, then what I want to show you is she said at the end of it.
Johnny Bench called.
Who?
It's a famous catcher, baseball catcher. Archer makes references to it, but basically, a woman who touches herself is referred to as Johnny Bench because of the catcher mitt.
Hang on a minute. She said at the end of it, she said that the woman just needs to get over it. And it's like,
oh, that's easy,
okay,
Dave.
What's that? Trying to figure out co-host.
You have to just add her as an admin. And then
you go into your admin settings.
Yeah.
Remove from stage. Yeah, so she is the lady that got the cream pie in the face. She is pretty much like the governor of the state. And this woman was at a local markets, kind of like a, how do I explain? Do you guys have farmers markets kind of thing?
Yeah.
In the US? Yeah. All right. And there's fresh food and coffee and vegetables and fruit and things like that. And yeah, there's a local sort of bakers was there, and it was a crepe, right? So a waffle kind of toasted crepe thing with fresh cream all over the top. And that woman who you just saw was annoyed that the premier, governor, chief minister hadn't been answering her messages for however long, and legit just went up and smacked her in the face with cream pie. And you could see that it was videoed and it was supposed to be like that. And that interviewer just there, who I thought was quite a good interviewer, was like, no, you meant to do that. It's like, no, it was just a slight error. And really, is that an assault? It's a soft cream pie. She needs to get over it. I was just like, okay, firstly, it's not the 80s. You don't go around slapstick humoring throwing cream pies at people.
Assault. I mean,
it's
funny.
Assault.
It's very funny, but it's assault.
It's hilarious, but it's an assault. And also, this lady is facing charges right now, and she's all like, she just needs to get over herself.
Yeah.
It's like the Northern Territory is a whole nother land, like in terms of the mindset of the people there.
Yeah. And
Um,
David,
yeah,
I'm DMing you right now, so in Discord, just check that.
yeah. That's the Australia we like here. Look, it's like a caricature of the rest of what people expect Australia to be, because the Northern Territory is just, yeah, it's the Crocodile Dundee sort of Australia that you kind of hope to find when you come to Australia. And then when you actually do come to Australia, most of the cities are like, if you come to the city area, that's just, it's just cities, you know, and we're pretty normal people. And yeah, we kind of exist a little bit more in reality than you hope, I suppose. But yeah, if you really want to experience the stereotype, then you can go out there. I wouldn't. Like, in a million years, would I go out there? What's that? It's whipped creamery. Yes, it's whipped creamery. There should be an actual assault called whipped creamery, kind of like glassing. We have this what do you call it? Actual assault here called glassing. Do you have that over there?
Blasting?
Glassing. GLASSING.
No,
Glassing.
I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so glassing is where, in fact, it came up in the Johnny Depp trial, because when you like get like a bottle or something like that and you smash it and you come up to somebody else and you get them with glass,
yeah.
that's called glassing. Yeah.
Oh, glassing.
And
Okay.
Glassing. Yeah.
Do you think that's what Amber did with Johnny, or did she throw the bottle?
Yeah, glassing is like, it's exactly like what Amber did with JD. Yeah.
Well, did she?
Is
it throwing the bottle, or is it
anything?
Hitting
anything
them
that's
personally?
using glass as a weapon.
Okay.
Is glassing. Yeah.
Okay.
And because we get a lot of it here, like
and
that's
you have
why they made a
serious
term.
charges.
Serious charges for glassing. Yep. Absolutely.
Which is why Johnny Depp protected her.
I don't know.
Well, I would assume so, because he didn't snitch on her. Your camera isn't working.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Hang on. I am beware. And I have to fix it. And everything has gone.
But that would have been a really interesting point for Americans to know, because like it seemed like he went out of his way to protect her. I mean, here it just would have been simple assault, maybe, or dangerous weapon or something. Oh yeah, and she did like get out of Australia like right away, and they were like, well, she just needed to be separated from Johnny, and then she skedaddled and was on a plane like within hours after that, or maybe no more than a day. So that's a very interesting side I had not heard before discussed. True, but he was also trying to protect her, protect his abuser, basically. He didn't want her to get into trouble, and it would have been very serious troubles. So I am here all alone by my lonesome self. Check out Dolly Talk if you haven't. I guess I'm going to grift while EU does her I guess she's fighting a kangaroo or koala bear or something. Well, this is awkward now. Oh boy. Huh. Let's see how quick I can get her stream deleted. No. Let's see. Oh, I'll show my cats. Hey, kitties. Ooh, just caught them doing something naughty. Oh boy. They do not look happy to be disturbed. Huh? No, they don't care. back to licking themselves. Anywho, she dropped a dollar due on the floor. So I am Dolly Talk, and I know I need more artwork. Oh crap! She's back. Don't tell her I said that.
Shut up. I could hear you the entire time.
Oh,
I had
darn.
to restart my
Okay.
Chrome because I was sharing so much stuff, including that,
Oh, yeah.
what do you call it? The quiz from earlier.
Yeah.
That actually takes up a fair bit of
Yeah, it's all right. I
power.
just showed them my pussies.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah,
They were
no,
licking
I'm
each
so
other.
jealous. So jealous. Anyway, do we have a link to David's stream? That would have been smart.
I mean, if you had mods that could do stuff like that. Gosh.
Well, if I did.
No, I'm kidding. I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Because yeah, David is going live very shortly with the what do you call it?
Thank you, Eris. Whitmer.
He's doing a rewatch now on Whitmer because he got waylaid with all of his travels and things. And
I got the link.
That was sweet. That was
and I closed your stream, so I can't post it. God damn it. It's always one thing or another here.
Hey, Wolfram.
Ooh.
Wolfram, you missed the trivia.
I know.
You missed it. It was fun. But don't worry, I'm going to be doing so much more of that now that I have bought access to it. It's kind of like when I bought access to StreamYard, and now I stream every day when I can.
I know.
It's like, well, I paid for it, so I
might as well
use it. And now I've paid for trivia, so I will be using trivia.
It was a lot of middle finger gestures I was doing. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm so worried about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, who's this? FD Food Fairy. I don't know you.
Oh,
hello.
Hey. Oh, yeah, she's new. She was on, I think she's Iris's friend. She's awesome.
Iris
she's
is
new.
Awesome.
Yeah. She's a new, just started a few days ago, I think. But she was giving me all kinds of food advice and how to cook sirloin.
You need that.
I do, because I have a palate of an 8-year-old.
Yes, you can't handle the spice, you see.
No, I can. I love spicy food. I just.
That's right. You can, can't you?
I'm lazy.
Kind of. Yeah, but not with international palate kind of level.
Not Indian level.
No, not like me.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, because I really want to enjoy their food. But
yeah.
It's like I went to an Indian restaurant and like, oh, this doesn't look too bad, just regular chicken. And I get it, and I'm just like,
no, so I go in and order actual brown level spice.
No, like for an American, like I was in 4th grade, like dumping a whole jar of crushed red pepper on my pizza. My friend's mom is like freaking out. I'm like, what? It's fine. So.
Okay, so Eris, did you put in the link? You've got it. Sweet. Very good. Okay, so I'm just going to show that there. So Eris has put the link there to MLS, and he should be going live any second now. So everyone needs to jump on over there once we end the stream, which will be any second now.
And, tomorrow,
yeah,
I am going. I need to talk with you more, figure out your schedule. I'm thinking I'm going to go on and do Matthew Moore with Farrell.
Yep.
You're more than invited to come on.
Okay.
And then after, maybe you can do more of this, and I'll try to come on for a little bit. But we'll figure it out and let you all know. So
yeah, I'll probably stream after the Matthew Moore tomorrow.
Okay.
Might do more Chandler, might do something else, but it will involve quizzes. I do know that.
There you go.
There will be quizzes no matter what I do. I'm looking forward to doing a Becky stream at some point in time. I'm kind of holding off to see if there'll be a response from the defense
or state.
On the defense. The state has the AG's already made because the AG said it was dysfunctional or defective or something.
Okay.
The argument, and so
they basically wanted more information. I think
want more information. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I would like to see the defense's response. Yeah. So once there's that, then I'm full ready because I've got so much stuff to say
Yeah.
about, especially what about Eric Bland has been going on about. My God,
Yeah.
that man.
And Mo is also doing nightly news now. Mo in the Deep End. So
Newsy
check
news.
her out as well. She's hilarious, and I stream with her when I can
Yeah.
because she's my twin sister.
Your twin
Like
sister.
literally, like it's creepy how much we get along.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yes.
She's awesome. And also, I've been watching her and Nick with the Delphi stuff, which is just,
Oh yeah, it's great. It's insane. Like I had no idea Colts were like still around.
my God,
Like who? It's like the thing that
full on.
Alex Jones, like the lawyers must have felt like Alex Jones writing that motion.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
I've been keeping up as much as I
Yeah.
can with that, and I watched the most horrifying part of it yesterday on the plane, and it was whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. See you
Yes.
guys, and I'll see you in chat over at MLSN. We
Yes.
are gonna end the stream now. Thank you all for participating, and I can't
Absolutely.
wait to do more quizzy things with you because that was
For
fun.
sure.
That was fun. Alrighty, and I'm gonna do
Alrighty.
the thing now. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bye.
Thank you, Lefty.